disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Then Jesus said to them, "Children, have you any food?" They answered him, "No." And he said to them, "Cast a net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they did. And now they were not able to draw it in because of the multitude of fish. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Maybe see. I need all the mic I can get today.
Mike's not here.
Mike's not. Almost forgot. I think there is no doubt that Jesus appeared alive on numerous occasions in the East. Now let us look at the appearances of Jesus. The first appearance was with Mary Magdalene in John 20:14. At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. And then Mary realized who Jesus was in verse 16, when she called out, "Rabboni." Now, I can without a doubt believe that this was the first appearance. I think that because Mary was a woman, this appearance was overlooked by the author of the gospel. Now, the next report of Jesus' appearance was to those gathered in the upper room. This is recorded in John 20:19. Now Jesus came and he stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." This appearance is recorded as the first alive appearance to his disciples. Now the second or the third appearance was recorded in John 20:26. Here the author writes that Jesus appeared to the disciples, but in particular, Thomas. Now Thomas is not unlike many people. Some people need to doubt before they can believe. Now, we come to today's gospel reading. And Jesus appears to 7 of the disciples who had gone fishing. Now, I've got to stop right there. Mac knows that I wrote this, a week ago. Because Mark and I emailing back and forth to each other a lot. And we try to keep each other abreast of what might be taking place. Now, when I went home last night, I was dead exhausted. Supposed to have been on vacation, and like I said, I had a funeral, we had a meeting, we had this, we had that. And yesterday we started off at 5 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock last night, you could have put your finger on me and I would have fell right over backwards. So I was exhausted. And usually you're supposed to be pumped up. So anyway, I go to bed and I'm sleeping, must be sleeping soundly. Now Mark, my brother, this is for you. Now, where this goes, where it comes from, where it's going, I don't know. But I have myself walking down this old dirt road, and I'm headed to a farm. And I go over the rise of a little hill and down the other side, and in the low part of the land is a stream of water, rushing water coming down through the road. And it's a little Now, I don't know who else was there other than Mark, but there was another man there, and I stopped and talked to them. And there's somebody within our church in that district, for whatever reason, can't recall. Now, this is odd, Mark, but I see Mark, they're fishing. Now, you don't fish against the current. But this man and Mark are throwing out the line, and Mark is using his left arm. And that is going out into the water. But it's rushing back underneath the bridge. And they have to grind it in and throw it back out. And my thought was, look guys, why aren't you fishing the other side? Because that's where the fish will be. And they said, well, we have to do it this way. Now, my dream came to an end. Now, I don't know why or what the purpose of it is, but this morning when I'm going over my message before we leave, I get to this point. And I said, God, what are you telling me? Do you follow where I am?
Yep. Mark's left hand.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's right on.
Now, the other guys said, that sounds like a good thing. We'll go with you. You see, ladies, when we go fishing, this is in our genes. We can't help ourselves. And the fish story goes like it normally goes. The first night, they didn't catch a thing. You see, it does happen. We don't catch something. And then at about daybreak, Jesus is seen standing upon the shore. And the disciples did not recognize that it was the Lord. And Jesus then calls out to the disciples, hey buddies, did you want to catch fish? And they came back with probably a disappointed no. Jesus then tells the disciples to throw the nets in on the right side of the boat. You'll find some fish there. And wow, they did. They caught so much fish that they had a problem hauling that net in over the gunnels. John says to Peter, hey, look, it's the Lord. Peter threw out his outer garment and jumped right into the water. And the others rowed the boat in their large catch of fish. And they followed Peter. And when they got into the shore, they saw a fire of burning coals. And on the coals were some fish and some bread baking. And Jesus then invites his disciples to breakfast. Bring some of your fish and throw them onto the fire. We'll have a feast fit for a king. Come on, guys. I'll even do the cooking. And the author of the Gospels makes it a point with verse 14. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to these disciples after he was raised from the dead. And Jesus is so alive that he cooked breakfast for his disciples. Now, how do these stories of Jesus' appearance affect your faith? Well, for me, They get rid of some of my doubts. Hey, I have them just like you do and everybody else does. Well, for me, like Doubting Thomas, Jesus doesn't have to bump me on the head, although he has on occasion. I know from where I speak. He had to awaken me more than once. And I used to be a slow learner, but I'm getting a little faster. These alive appearances make me to look a little bit closer at his alive presence in my own life. I don't have to look very far. All I need to do is look at Hazel, or my daughter, when I saw her yesterday, and my two granddaughters. One day at hunting camp, I had little Emma in my arms almost all day. I didn't really want to give her up. She fell asleep in my arms, and it was so peaceful to me that I joined her. We fell asleep right there in that rocking chair. Nowadays, Abby, my other little precious granddaughter, could hold me in her arms because she's that big. And she is one of the greatest volleyball players that there is. And traveling with the traveling teams all over New Brunswick. She loves it. And she loves cooking. And last like, was it Thursday and Friday? Hazel's going down and she's going to show her how to make needles. Now, you got to know Abby. Abby doesn't say much. But she called her grandmother and said, Granny, would you show me how to make needles? What are you going to say, right? What a beautiful child. This is an alive presence. These stories tell me that when I am with other believers, I am most likely to know his presence. I know when I serve on a trade this weekend and see his presence in the faces of those candidates that come through that door. And these people are already believers. And to see these people leave that weekend on a pinnacle of their faith journey, it really shows the presence of Jesus Christ. And when then have Jesus and Peter in a dialogue. After this breakfast, Jesus looked at Peter. Peter, do you truly love me? And Peter fires right back. Yes, Lord, of course I love you. Jesus says right back to Peter, feed my lambs. And Jesus again asked Peter, Simon, son of John, do you really love me? Peter fires right back, you know I love you. And Jesus replies, take care of my sheep. Then comes that third time. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was a little hurt. And probably a little defensive. Jesus, do you love me? And Peter comes back, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. And if you take out the Jesus said and the Peter said, you would have a rapid dialogue back and forth. And remember that Peter had denied Jesus 3 times. Jesus wanted to remove the cloud of Peter's denial. You see, it is one thing for you to say you love Jesus, but the real test is the willingness to serve Jesus. Peter had repented, and now Jesus is asking him to change his life and serve with his life. Jesus doesn't settle for the quick, superficial answers. No, he wants us to face our true feelings and motives and serve him with our life. What does it mean for us to tend Jesus' sheep and to feed Jesus' sheep? Now, while you are asking yourselves that little question, let me ask you this. Who are these sheep? Who are Jesus' sheep? I need to every week come up with a spiritual and meaningful message. If that is all that I do, then I've had it made in a shape. No, it goes much more deeper than that. Remember, we were talking earlier about this vacation that I had, but the phone calls still keep coming. The things that they want me to do still keep coming. What vacation? It goes much deeper than that. I need to serve daily and see every minute of the day. In some ways, we are both tended to and both fed. We feed off in each other. I deliver a good message. You feed daily in other ways. Then you are tended to feed and to be fed. If I see spiritual growth from you, then I am fed and tended to. If Jesus comes up to you and says, "Follow me," would you follow him? If you do follow him, will you follow him with your life? When we had Jesus asking Peter, "Do you truly love me?" he was asking in a brotherly love. He was asking Peter if he was even a friend. If Jesus asked you to follow him, when you respond, will you respond as a brother, a sister, or a friend? This is much more thought-provoking question than it really appears. You may just want to take a little time and think before you respond. He wants you to respond with great certainty and not a rapid response. This may just mean your wife. We have read these accounts of Jesus' appearance from the Bible. Are these accounts proof enough for you? Can you convince others of the alive Jesus? Will the others believe the word? Or will you need to give proof? Will others demand proof? And if so, can you provide them that proof? I have no doubt, none whatsoever, that you can answer with an authority when unbelievers demand proof. Today, when we take communion,